Okay, good morning to all of you. In our last class, in detail, we have been discussed about analytic function and Cauchy-Riemann equations. That means if a function is analytic at a point or in a domain, then it has to follow the Cauchy-Riemann equations that are del u by del x equal to del v by del y and del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x. Here u and v are the real and imaginary functions of the complex function. So in detail we have been discussed, but these equations are not the sufficient condition that we have to conclude that a function is going to be a analytic. That means a function is said to be analytic at a point. It has to obey the Cauchy-Riemann equations, that is your del u by del x equal to del v by del y and del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x. These two equations are necessary conditions but not the sufficient conditions. So today we are going to discuss the sufficient condition of sufficient conditions for a function to be analytic. Okay, so let's start. So here the sufficient conditions for a function fz to be analytic can be established by considering a theorem. Okay, what is that theorem? Theorem is that the sufficient condition for a function fz equal to uxy plus I vxy to be analytic at all points in a region if the four partial derivatives, that is your del u by del x, del u by del y, del v by del x and del v by del y has to exist and are continuous functions of x and y in the region and satisfy Cauchy-Riemann equations at each point of the region. That means this theorem contains all the things. That means a function, if we are going to say that it will be analytic at a point, suppose the function fz will be analytic at a point, that means this function has to obey Cauchy-Riemann all the equations and exist their partial derivatives, that del u by del x, del u by del y, del v by del x, del v by del y. These four partial derivatives has to be exist and continuous at this point. Then it will be sufficient condition that we are going to accept this function will be analytic at here. Okay, so now start to prove. So it is well known that, or we know that, if phi is a real valued function and of function of xy with continuous first partial derivatives in the neighborhood of a point pxy, then del phi can be written as del phi by del x plus epsilon 1 whole into del x plus del phi by del y plus epsilon y epsilon 2 into del y. What is the physical meaning of this? That means suppose this phi is a real value of function xy and continuous its first derivative. That means suppose phi is the function of x and y. Phi is the function of x and y, and it is exist in xy plane. This is your x and y plane. Okay, x and y plane. Suppose at a point, any point, it is continuous, real valued. We know that if it is real valued function and continuous, partial first derivative neighborhood of the point. Suppose this is the point P xy and its first derivative exists neighborhood of its point. That means del phi by del x. That means change of, suppose we have to consider at this point neighborhood of this pxy means at this point. Suppose del phi by del x, that means change of phi with respect to x plus epsilon plus epsilon. Suppose this function starts from here, so it will be changes with respect to x. That means it will move towards this way with del phi by del x plus epsilon. We are going to consider, that means it is moved a forward direction, a small distance, suppose, into del x, into del x, into del x. That means it told that it moved somewhat direction, somewhat distance along the x direction. And del phi by del y plus epsilon means it moved towards y direction, into del y, up to this much. Suppose this function moved this way and this way, easily it can be moved, then we can say that this is the so-called continuous with this function with continuous first partial derivative in neighborhood of this point p x y. So del phi can be written as del phi by del x plus epsilon 1 into del x. Here epsilon is a small element, okay, plus del phi by del y plus epsilon 2 into del y. Let it is your equation number 1. Here epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 tends to 0 value, okay, and del x and del y also tends to 0. Next, come to the next page, that here fz we have been considered as uxy plus I vxy is a single valued function where uxy and vxy have continuous fast derivatives in the neighborhood of a point in the region R. Then how del phi has been represented in the same way we can represent uxy and vxy, as del u can be written as del u by del x plus epsilon whole into del x. That means its physical significance is that it is smoothly moving towards the x-axis or a small distance along x-axis. That distance tends to be 0, okay, and del u by del y plus epsilon 2 whole into del y. Let it is your equation number 2. This was your equation number 1, okay, no problem. Then del v can be written as del v by del x plus epsilon 3 into del x plus del v by del y plus epsilon 4 whole into del y. Let it is your equation number 3. Hence del phi equal to del u plus I del v. Then by using equation number 2 and 3, del phi will be, we know that del phi is nothing but del f equal to del u plus I del v. So here del u and del v we are going to be substitute over here. Then what we are going to get, del f will be equal to, just I substituted this one over here and this one over here, okay. So it will be del u by del x plus epsilon 1 whole into del x plus del u by del y plus epsilon 2 whole into del y plus I del v by del x plus epsilon 3 del x plus I del v by del y plus epsilon 4 del y. Let it is your equation number 4. Here epsilon 1, 2, 3 and 4 are all tend to 0 with del x and del y tend to 0. Now we have to use Cauchy-Riemann equations. The Cauchy-Riemann equations are del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x and del v by del y equal to del u by del x. I just written reversely here. You can see here del u by del x equal to del v by del y or del v by del y equal to del u by del x. One equation. Another equation, del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x, or we can write here it is written del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x. So these are the two CR equations. Already we have been found that these two equations now we are going to be used in equation number 4. What we are going to get, see here. So equation number 4 will be del f, that implies del f equal to del u by del x plus del u by del x into del x, okay, plus epsilon 1 into del x, okay, plus here del u by del y is there. We know that As per the CR equation, del u by del y can be written as minus del v by del x. Okay, so here del u by del y, instead of del u by del y, I can write minus del v by del x. So here minus del v by del x into del y plus epsilon 2 into del y plus epsilon 2 into del y. Okay, next I into del v by del x plus epsilon 3. So here I into del v by del x into del x, I into del v by del x into del x, then I into epsilon 3 into del x, I epsilon 3 into del x. Next term you can consider that del v by del y. Del v by del y is nothing but your del u by del x. So instead of del v by del y, I have been substituted that del u by del x. So I here it can be written as del u by del x. So I del u by del x into del y, I del u by del x into del y, then I epsilon 4 into del y plus I epsilon 4 into del y. Here you can mark one thing, that all the partial derivatives denominator is common. Here del u by del x, del v by del x, del v by del x, del u by del x. So to make common denominator of all the partial terms, I used this way, these things, the CR equation. Also you can consider all the denominators of the partial derivative will be del y. That means you can use del u by del x, del u by del x as del v by del y. Okay, and then del v by del x, del v by del x as minus del u by del y. Okay, also you can use. So by using this this way, we got this one. So here I made the equation number 4 as all the partial derivatives denominator or change the denominator term should be common. That means del x, del x, del x, del x. So next, what we can found? So we found del f equal to del u by del x. Here del u by del x, we can get the two terms. Here del u by del x is there. Here another del u by del x is there. So if I going to take the common from these two terms, del u by del x, we can found del x plus I del y. Same thing it has been written, del u by del x whole into del x plus I del y. Likewise I del v by del x common, we have to take common I del v by del x. Here I del v by del x, one is there, and another here del v by del x is there. So I can multiply I over here and divide I over I with this. Then we can see that see here I del v by del x into del x. That means your this term I del v by del x into del x. So this term is minus del v by del x into del y. So I can write so plus I square del v by del x into del y. So by taking I common, it will be plus del v by del x into del y. So here by taking I common, del v by del x, the second term will be I del y. You got my point? So you just multiply here I del v by del x into del x. We can get I del v by del x into del x. That means this term we got. By multiplying this one, I del v by del x into this one, so it will be I into I square, that means minus 1 minus del v by del x into del y. That means this is your this term. Okay, I'm erasing these things. So next we have to take common del x. Del x means here you can found del x epsilon del x and I epsilon 3 del x. So by taking common del x, we can found epsilon 1 plus I epsilon 3 del x plus epsilon 2 plus I epsilon 4 del y. Here we can found that epsilon 2 del y, I epsilon 4 del y. Okay, next you can see that del x plus I del y, here in both the term is common, del x plus I del y, del x plus I del y. So combiningly these two terms can be written as del u by del x plus I del v by del x into del x plus I del y plus these two terms I have been written as such. So here del x plus I del y is nothing but your del z. That is your del z. Already we have been written, we know that one. Okay, we know that one, and we can see that from the beginning itself we have been written that del z equal to del x plus I del y, that obviously. So so instead of del x plus I del y we can write del z, and here these two terms are written as such. So now I am going to be divide del z with each term. So it will be del f by del z. This will be del u by del x plus I del v by del x plus this will be epsilon 1 plus I epsilon 3 into del x by del z, and this will be epsilon 2 plus I epsilon 4 del y by del z. Now take this term to the left side. We can find del f by del z minus del u by del x plus I del v by del x will be equal to this much, these two terms. From the beginning itself, we have been defined that epsilon 1, 2, 3, 4 are 10 to 0 and del x, del y also 10 to 0. That means this right hand side is very small, also it is comparatively 0, or we can say this right term is equivalent to 0 or equal to 0. See, this is 10 to 0, this term also 10 to 0, del x tends to 0, so this whole term is 0, this whole term also will be 0. So hence equation number 5, this is your equation number 5. So equation number 5 can be written as limit del z limit del z tends to 0, left hand side I'm telling you, limit del z tends to 0, del f by del z minus del u by del x plus I del v by del y equal to 0, because these all are very small. Epsilon 2 epsilon 3, these all are very small. Del x del y also very small, but when del z tends to 0, then this will be all will be going to be 0. So for limit del z tends to 0, left hand side will be equal to limit del z tends to 0. If I am going to consider right hand side, it will be 0. Okay, so limit del z tends to 0, del f by del z equal to del u by del x plus I del v by del x, or this is nothing but your first derivative f dash z will be del u by del x plus I del v by del x. Similarly, by substituting del u by del x equal to del v by del y, whatever I told that we have to substitute here del u by del x as del v by del y and del v by del x as del u by del y, then we can found all the denominators will be del y. This will be del y. By substituting over here del u by del x as del u by del y, that denominator will be del y. Sorry, here we have to substitute. In equation number 4 we have to substitute. In equation number 4 we have to substitute del u by del x. Del u by del x means here del u by del y, denominator is del y. So here del v by del x, del v by del x means we have to substitute del u by del y. So all the denominator terms will be del y. So if we are going to do so, then and by considering the same procedure, we can found that f dash z will be equal to del v by del y minus I del u by del y. Okay, so these two things, that means f dash z equal to del v by del y minus I del u by del y, and f dash z equal to del u by del x plus I del v by del x, we intend to prove. You can see from the beginning that each point of the region R, that means f dash z should be equal to del u by del x plus I forgot to say to this one initially. So f dash z equal to del u by del x plus I del v by del x, and f dash z equal to del v by del x minus I del u by del y. These two things we have to prove, or we intend to prove, and we proved, and at last we proved. So this is your sufficient conditions that its partial derivatives or first derivative exist, that means its partial derivative with respect to x and y exist. So this is your sufficient condition that we have to say that function to be analytic. Next we have to go for the polar form of a Cauchy-Riemann equation. Polar form of a Cauchy-Riemann equations. So Cauchy-Riemann equations can be expressed in polar coordinate, that means r theta, by using in the coordinate, that is r theta. Let fz be the analytic function where z is equal to x plus iy, or it can be written as r into e to the I theta, where x equal to r cos theta, y equal to r sin theta, where theta equal to tan inverse y by z. The real and imaginary parts of fz equal to u plus iv are expressed in the form of polar coordinates r theta. How? Using chain rule of differentiation, we have del u by del r. We can write. We can write del u by del r equal to del u by del x into del x by del r plus del u by del y into del y by del r. Let it is your equation number 1. Likewise, del u by del theta can be written as del u by del x into del x by del theta plus del u by del y into del y by del theta. Let it is your equation number 2. Del v by del r can be written as del v by del x into del x by del r plus del v by del r into del y by del r. Let it is your equation number 3. Del v by del theta, del v by del x into del x by del theta. See, del x can be cancelled, so we can get del v by del theta. Del v by del y into del y by del theta, del y cancelled, so del v by del theta. So del u by del r, that means del u by del r plus del u by del r. That means del u by del r means it has to be differentiated with only del r, but it can be written as del u by del x by del r. Okay, so here from this we can get only del u by del r. Also here with respect to y, if we want to write del u by del y into del y by del r, so this del y is not to be considered, it will be del u by del r. Okay, so by considering this chain rule differentiation, we can write del u by del r as this one, del u by del theta as this one, del v by del r like this, del v by del theta as like this. Let it is your equation number 1, 2, 3 and 4. Hence, del x by del r, see here x equal to r theta, so del x by del r will be cos theta. Del y by del r, here y is r theta, del y by del r will be sin theta only. And del x by del theta, if we are going to consider x equal to r cos theta, del x by del theta will be minus r sin theta, that is your minus r sin theta. Okay, and del y by del theta, y is your r sin theta, del y by del theta will be r cos theta, del y by del theta equal to r cos theta. Now we have to substitute these values in equation number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so substituting del x by del r, del y by del r, del x by del theta and del y by del theta in equation number 1, 2, 3, 4, then the equations will be what it is going to be changed. You just watch. So here del u by del r equal to del u by del x into del x by del r. Here del x by del r is nothing but cos theta. Okay, we have to put over here cos theta. So cos theta into del u by del x plus del u by del y by del r. Del y by del r is nothing but your sin theta. So we have to write sin theta into del u by del y. Let it is your equation number 5. Now come to the equation number 2. So here you can find del u by del x by del theta. So del x by del theta is nothing but minus r sin theta. So it will be minus r sin theta del u by del x. Next, it will be del u by del y by del theta. Del y by del theta is nothing but r sin theta. So it can be written as r cos theta. r cos theta. This is r cos theta. So it will be written as r cos theta into del u by del y. Let it is your equation number 6. So then del v by del r will be equal to del v by del x into del x by del r. Del x by del r is cos theta. Here we have to put cos theta over here. Del u by del y equal to del y by into del y by del r. Del y by del r means sin theta. So here we have to put cos theta and sin theta. So it will be cos theta del v by del x plus sin theta del v by del y. Let it is your equation number 7. Next come to the del v by del theta. So it will be del v by del x into del x by del theta is minus r sin theta. We have to put over here. Del y by del theta means r cos theta we have to put over here. So it will be minus r sin theta into del v by del x plus r cos theta into del v by del y. Let it is your equation number 8. Okay. Now we know that CR equations in Cartesian coordinates are del u by del x equal to del v by del y. So I suggest that you have to remember these two equations. Okay, del u by del x equal to del v by del y, del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x. That we know. So from Cauchy-Riemann equations in Cartesian coordinates, that is your del u by del x equal to del v by del y and del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x. So these two equations we have to by using these two equations we have to modify these 5, 6 and 7, 8. Okay, what we are going to get. So now by using these two equations number 7 and 8, so 7 and 8 is going to be modified. So here you can see del v by del r is equal to del v by del x. Del v by del x can be written as minus del u by del y. So instead of del v by del x I can write minus del u by del y. Okay, plus sin theta into del v by del y. Del v by del y can be written as del u by del x. So sin theta into del u by del x can be written here. I substituted instead of del u by del y equal to del u by del x. Next, so here you can see that del u by del y. So here I just simplified. You can see that what I done. I taken minus common from these two terms and I divided r and multiplied r. So this will be minus 1 by r and minus r. This one, this term I written first and this term I written second. So minus r sin theta del u by del x. This term I taken first as first term. Okay. Then this will be plus r cos theta del u by del y. You just multiply minus 1 by r, you just multiply with this term. Then what we are going to get? We can get sin theta del u by del x here. Minus 1 by r is going to be multiplied with this one. Then we can find minus cos theta del u by del y. Okay. That implies del u by del r will be equal to minus 1 by r into, this is nothing but your del u by del theta. By considering equation number 6, see 6 is nothing but r minus r sin theta del u by del x minus r sin theta del u by del x, r cos theta del u by del y, r cos theta del u by del y. That is nothing but this is your equation number 6, which represents del u by del theta. So instead of this I can write del u by del theta. Here I written also using equation number 6. Let this is your equation number 9. Similarly, we have to consider equation number 8 that del v by del theta equal to minus r sin theta del v by del x. So instead of del v by del x we can write minus del u by del y. So this will be minus means plus, it will be plus. So r sin theta. So first you write minus r cos theta. Here del v by del x will be minus del u by del y. So it will be minus del u by del y. Then r cos theta del v by del y. Del v by del y. Del v by del y is nothing but del u by del x. Del u by del x. Okay. So now here minus minus it will be plus. Obviously, take r as common and take outside the bracket. We can found this is the cos theta del u by del x plus sin theta del u by del y. So this is nothing but your del u by del r by considering equation number 5. You see, equation number 5 is cos theta del u by del x plus sin theta del u by del y is nothing but del u by del r. So this is nothing but your del u by del r. So del v by del theta will be equal to r del u by del r. Let it is your equation number 10. Okay. So these equation number 9 and 10 are called Cauchy-Riemann equations in polar form. Okay. So some problems that we are going to do in our next class, that some problems can be solved by using polar form, could not be solved by using Cartesian form, but at that time we have to use polar form. It will be easy to solve the problems. That means in your question that we are going to do in our next class, suppose fz is given some function, suppose cos z 1 by z square like this. So is it analytic? That is the question, that cos z or sin z, tan z, 1 by z square, these type of functions, it will be asked in your exam, that find the analyticity of this function. Is it analytic or not? That we have to find out. So to finding the function to be analytic or not analytic, we have to use Cauchy-Riemann equation in the Cartesian form, that is your del u by del x equal to del v by del y, we have to check, and del u by del y minus del v by del x also we have to check. Or we can consider the polar form, that is your del v by del r equal to minus 1 by r del u by del theta, del v by del theta equal to r del u by del r. If any function satisfies these two conditions, also that function will be called as your analytic function. Then come to the harmonic function. Let fz equal to uxy plus ivxy be an analytic function. Hence Cauchy-Riemann equations are to be satisfied. That is your del u by del x will be equal to del v by del y, equation number 1, let equation number 1, and del u by del y equal to minus del v by del x, let it is your equation number 2. Now we have to differentiate equation number 1 with respect to x and 2 with respect to y. What we are going to get? We can get del square u by del x square minus del square v by del x into del y, del x del y, del x not into del x del y, equation number 3, and differentiating y with differentiating with respect to y, this equation number 2 will be del square u by del y square minus equal to minus del square v by del y del x. Let it is your equation number 4. Now we have to add these two equations. What we are going to get? Del square u by del x square plus del square u by del y square equal to, right hand terms are equal but opposite sign. That means del square v by del x del y minus del square v by del y del x. So both are going to be cancelled. So it will be del square u by del x square plus del square u by del y square equal to 0. This let this equation is 5. Here we differentiated this equation with respect to x and this equation with respect to y. Now we have to just differentiate reversely. That means this equation is going to differentiate with y, and equation number 2 is going to differentiate with x. So similarly, differentiating 1 with respect to y and equation number 2 with respect to x, by solving in this way, also we can found that del square v by del x square plus del square v by del y square will be equal to 0. Let it is your equation number 6. Both equation number 5 and 6 are known as Laplace equation in two variables. This is in the form of Laplace equation. Okay. Okay. In 3-dimensional Laplace equation is like this: del square f equal to 0. Okay, 3-dimensional. So in 1-dimensional you can say del square f by del x square will be 0. Two dimensional del square f by del x square plus del square f by del y square equal to 0. So these two equations. So here u is the function of xy, v is the function of only xy. So this is the Laplace equation. This is also called as the Laplace equation. So equation in two variables, what I told that if v is the variable of 3, that means suppose v is the variable x, y and z, then the Laplace equation will be del square v by del x square plus del square v by del y square plus del square v by del z square equal to 0. That we know, okay, that we know. Or it can be written as del square v equal to 0, that you have been studied in your last semester in electrostatics. Okay, equation two variables. The function u and v satisfying the Laplace equation are known as harmonic functions. Again, I am reading, you just watch 5 and 6. The equation 5 and 6 are known as the Laplace equations. Laplace equations in two variables. Equations, okay, equations in two variables. The functions u and v satisfying Laplace equations are known as harmonic functions. So any function is going to be satisfy this Laplace equations, that function will be called as harmonic functions. So I suggest that whatever we have been discussed, that is your sufficient condition, we have been discussed in this class, and we have been discussed polar form of Cauchy-Riemann equation, and we have discussed harmonic function. So these are the theoretical explanations. You just write in your note, pause the video and write down the note. In the next class we are going to do only problems based upon your analytic function, Cauchy-Riemann equation, and your polar form of Cauchy-Riemann equation and harmonic function. So by using these theories, whatever we have been studied, we are going to solve some numericals, or we are going to discuss numericals in our next class. So thank you so much for watching this video. I suggest once again that you pause video and write down carefully note and complete it. Okay, thank you.